Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
My liver's all twisted up. But you know what I did? I loaded up with alcohol, more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Who wants an orange whip? Orange whip? Orange whip? 3 orange whips.
So you're bored, are ya? I've come here to break your monotony. Let me have my piece, because I'm shooting with this one, folks. I don't care, man.
The unscripted, uncensored, loose cannon of commentary.
Why did you say that? Why? Why? You come out with stink like that? Poop. Your poop mouth. Poop out of your mouth.
See, son? Old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum look a lot alike, Daddy.
I've got a midget friend, an albino friend, and another friend who thinks Lord of the Rings is real. Together we call ourselves the Unfuckables.
Todd is in. Let the fun begin.
Body touch.
God, you're an asshole, man.
I've never heard of Vanya.
Yo, hello Hollywood. Hello world. Hello my loyal minions. It is good to see you and it's always good to be seen. My name is Izzy Presley. And this is Metal Edge Magazine's another effing podcast. With me, as always, is my sidekick, my cohort, the face of Metal Edge Magazine, Paul Gargano.
Why am I the sidekick? I'm not fucking. What the hell? God.
I was having a Beavis and Butthead moment. I'm sorry. It's a Wayne and Garth moment.
Hi.
How you doing, buddy?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
I'm doing pretty well. Behind me, I'm in Palm Springs, so I'm doing better than I am when I'm in LA.
Very jealous of that background right now.
And joining us from Kentucky. Yes, he is
the lone person clapping.
Yeah, he is the singer for a band called Minefield. Guitar player as well, with Jeremy Asbrock and Matt Starr from the Ace Frehley band, and Todd Kerns from the Bruce Kulick band. So it's like part of the Kiss family, and he's a young buck. So it's going to be interesting to hear your takes on a lot of these things. Really quick, make sure you guys hit up all the social media at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board: Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Hit up Metal Edge Magazine on the Facebook as well, and on the Instagram. Paul Gargano on the Instagram and Twitter, even though he never tracks it. What else do we got? What else do we got?
Here's the thing: you could either work or spend your whole day on social media. I work. I manage,
that's a good point.
I manage like 7 bands. I guess. I'm sure my bands would rather have me paying attention to them and not my Twitter feed.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Let's start the show off right in the words of my good friend Stone Cold Steve Austin. Crack one for the working man. Oh yeah.
I got some high quality H2O.
And in the words of my good friend Don Jameson, to hell with our livers.
Nice.
So this is kind of a last minute thing. Paul, you want to explain what happened?
We're like Abbott and Costello is what we are. No, we had something planned, and there was a last minute bailout, and Izzy had a spectacular idea of celebrating Ace's 70th birthday. And I was like, yeah, sounds good. And we always have people begging us to be on the show, and it's always like we're always, people are angry because they can't be on. And so last night to be fair, Izzy and I communicate about as well as 2 mutes, but last night, we went through this whole thing. We're like, okay, we got this, it's all good. And for the record, I've got the next 7 shows lined up already and finalized. So this is like, we are organized. But last night we're like, we'll do this Ace thing. Sounds good. And I know it is in an Ace tribute band, big fan. So I'm like, okay, this works. Well, between the 2 of us, at least 15 people said no. And no offense, Brandon. I don't mean that the wrong way.
Oh
But
no, absolutely.
when we do these, usually there's 5 people sitting here. Like usually it's a battle royal, and this is more like a polite rehearsal.
We even got shot down by the apple pie guy.
So yeah,
well, cool. Glad to be here.
It's good to have you.
Here, just to add one more bit to the calamity. In our communication last night, as I was in the car running to grab pizza. By the way, shout out to Bill's Pizza in Palm Desert, because this stuff is amazing. Palm Desert, California. But I'm on my way to get pizza. I'm on the phone with Izzy. I thought we were doing an Ace episode about Ace, just like a happy birthday Ace, all things Ace, right? About an hour ago, as I'm like pitching to Izzy, it wasn't even an hour ago, it was like a half hour ago, like maybe we just, look, we haven't promoted this week at all. Maybe we just skip this week. Like, oh no, I sent out a promo, and he sends me the promo, and I see that it's Frehely's Comet versus Trouble Walking, neither of which I've listened to in at least 20 years. So yeah, this is gonna be a good one.
That's cool. I was listening to him to brush up on a few right before we started, so it'll be good.
But you know what? Izzy's going to be able to fill in a lot of the blanks for me, because I do have a bunch of. I mean, look, we've all got Ace stories, so it'll be good. We'll be good. Yeah. We'll pull this through.
Oh, the chat room is going already. Dick chasing. So it's Tommy Thayer's birthday.
How did neither of us call Tommy Thayer to see if he could do this?
I do not have his number.
That would be a good reason for you not to.
Right. I would love to have Tommy Thayer on. I think it'd be a fun interview.
He just played a show last night, I think, in Arizona with Alice Cooper and Brent Fitz and Frank Sidoris and a few other people. I saw some vids on Facebook, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
cool.
Very around.
Cool. Where, you know?
I'm sorry, what was that?
It was probably Vegas with all those guys, right?
It was actually in like Phoenix, I think.
I got you. Hold on, my dog's trying to get in the house instead of out of it. Hold on.
Nice.
Brandon, let's start with you a little bit and introduce you to the listeners here. You're a young buck. You're what, 25?
Yes, I just hit the quarter century mark this past December, so I'm catching up to everybody.
Can I give you one of these?
Right. You've had me on your Facebook show a couple times. But I find this really interesting how big of a Kiss fan you are, being so young. At what point did you fall into Kiss? How old were you when you discovered Kiss?
So my dad had a pretty extensive music collection, and he listened to all this classic rock stuff. And the one Kiss CD he had was Destroyer. So I had heard Destroyer for a long time, and, love Detroit Rock City, love Shout Out Loud, love all that stuff. Hearing like Great Expectations and stuff like that when you're like 8 or 9, you're like, okay, this doesn't really fit in with like, the opening track. So it was about 8th grade, I think, thanks to iTunes, I got like every Kiss record because, everybody was getting all their music off iTunes back around that time, and got them all, literally listened to like every album, like from the first album to Creatures and like the first day of getting them. And then it was just like over after that.
I have a question for you. You said you got them all via iTunes, not Napster. You actually paid for them?
This was like 2009, so Napster was already like.
Yeah, but 2009, you were a preteen at that point, right? Like if you're 25 now.
I was 13 in 2009.
You were a teenager for the first time. Like I would have thought you would have been computer literate enough to be like, hell with this, I'm going to Napster.
Well, LimeWire was the big thing whenever I was that age. And right around that time was right after LimeWire got shut down and, and ruined millions and millions of people's home computers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it was around that time, 8th grade. And, Ace was always, as a guitarist, who I gravitated towards. And the man kind of really taught me how to guitar solo.
Well, he's not a bad one to learn off of, because his solos are kind of like songs inside of a song, that's one, that's why I'm not a huge shredder guy. It's like, cause a lot of it's just sounds like a fucking angry bee, not to quote Gene Simmons, but it's like, you could hum along, you could sing along to those solos.
Absolutely. Those solos are just as much as part of the songs as Paul Stanley's vocals or Gene's or anything else in them. So absolutely.
So what were your thoughts, discovering what not only 80s Kiss, but 80s Ace?
I'm going to be honest, when the first time I saw Ace in the solo stuff, Duya was the first video I ever saw of Ace outside of makeup. And I swear I thought Ace was Asian. And I ended up looking it up like online if Ace Frehley was Asian. And of course he's not. But if you read Ace's book, the funny thing is he says when he left the audition for Kiss, apparently Peter, right after he walked out of the room, was like, I love Chinese food, because he thought Ace was Asian as well. So it was nice to know that I wasn't the only one that kind of picked up on that.
Right. Paul, what about you? I mean, what were your thoughts when you first were exposed to non-Kiss Ace?
Non-Kiss Ace. Can I just point out that no matter where I go, I'm endorsed. I think it's just, I have a funny story that has nothing to do with Ace Frehley, but I'm going to tell it anyway. The first time I met King Diamond, I was on his tour bus, and he said to me, I asked him if I can get a picture, and he's like, yeah, of course. This was probably like 1991-ish. And look, I'm literally totally blackened out. And I said to him, can I get a picture? He said, of course. And we took a picture. And then he goes, take a second. And I go, what? He goes, the first picture of me never comes out. And sure enough, when I developed the film, this was like early 90s. First picture was just a flash of light. It was just literally a flash of light, and he wasn't there. The second one came out perfectly. And
That's amazing.
I'm maybe like part of King Diamond's soul entered my soul at that point, and now I'm incapable of like being filmed on Zoom, because I always look really horrible whenever I'm doing a business Zoom. I just look like I'm Sloth from the Goonies. But like whenever I'm on business and everyone can see me perfectly, now that I'm on I'm like in black. I'm a soul in black. Maybe we should do Testament instead, since I'm a soul in black. I was initiated to, I was totally into, what was it? 87 was the first record, right?
Yeah.
I saw Ace, I'm saying Peter. I saw Ace open for Iron Maiden, which was phenomenal. I mean, if you're going to get introduced to Ace, opening for Iron Maiden is a great way to do it.
That's such a crazy billing.
Oh, look at that. Hey.
Look at that.
Nice.
So that was the Seventh Son tour. And I had been familiar with him at that point because I'd listened to all his solo stuff because I was a huge Kiss fan. But it's hard, and we had like 8th row dead center, New Haven Coliseum. It's hard not to completely fall in love with somebody when that's how you're introduced to them. I mean, and that's really it. Mm-hmm. I was a huge Ace fan. So that was my first real live initiation to him. And then obviously, as I became a professional journalist, my computer unplugged when I pulled it. But when I became a journalist, I've interviewed him a few times. So I've met him a bunch, interviewed him a bunch. If I was at home in LA, I would have like show and tell with things Ace has signed for me and stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite Kiss member that you've interviewed?
Paul, by far. Ace and Peter were good interviews. I actually like Gene, despite the fact that he could be a real asshole. But he knows that. I mean, I'm not saying he titled his record "Asshole" for a reason. Yeah. Paul is just always has been. When you talk to Paul, you could actually get real interview. Like you could get substance out of him, and you get some depth of character to him that honestly, the other guys just always seemed a little bit more, not aloof's the wrong word, because they're definitely not like arrogant and conceited. Yeah. But Paul was always the one that you just felt the most connection to. Mm-hmm. Like Ace is just a little distant, Ace. Yeah. Peter was tough just because of his place in the band when I interviewed him. Like it was just, he was the distant fourth member, and Gene needed to give him permission to say a lot of the things. It was odd. And Gene, I've interviewed countless times. He's just always about getting those press bites out there. And it's just, when you're interviewing Gene, you're just lucky to get a word in edgewise. It's like interviewing Ted Nugent or David Lee Roth. you know?
Right.
So Paul is definitely the one that I felt I've connected with the most over the years, because
You know,
every
it's-
time he takes the time to answer the right way and just give you those answers that make you feel like he cares about the fact that he's doing the interview, as opposed to just knocking something off his checklist of things to do that day.
Let's talk about Rod Stewart.
Yeah, and I'll talk about
If anybody doesn't know what I'm referencing,
Hey.
Paul did Richard Mark's like live chat thing, and Richard was talking about Aerosmith and how great Steven Tyler still is, and Paul goes, "Let's talk about Rod Stewart."
That's great.
Totally change the subject. Oh my God, we got more people in the chat room. Scotty and Tall Bear, both from Canada. So of course you get the. And welcome Amber Brooke, first timer, I believe, 29. Been a huge Kiss and Ace fan since I was like 6. Welcome to the shit show. It's good to. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because right as I was saying that, Gerald comments, Paul will cooperate as long as you don't bring up Steven Tyler. Let's talk about Rod Stewart.
All right, so I have a question for Brandon.
Go for it.
Does this always look like that behind you, or is this staged?
No, so I've got, typically this will be beside my computer on the wall with the records around it. But for the sake of this, I pulled it down.
I was about to say, because I know that Izzy always has Ace stuff on display all the time.
Well, I mean, it's on display here, but it's not like propped up on my Marshall, like in the middle of the room. So, but no, I just pulled it down for the episode. I figured it'd be good visuals for the background. So,
all right.
Yeah, very
As you
well.
can see, I worry about the visuals all the time.
Yeah. Hey, you got palm trees. That's all you need, bro.
I'm gonna say, if I'm jealous of anybody's visuals, it's you right now. Come on, man.
How is the weather up in Kentucky right now?
Dude, it's crazy going through like full global warming. It's like 75 at like noon, and then the next morning there'll be like snow on the ground. Seriously, like last week it was like Thursday. It's like 75 at like 3 p.m. and then I woke up the next morning to snow. So,
oh, nice.
Al Gore would not be enjoying it here right now.
Amber, hold on. Amber replied. She goes, "Been listening for a while, just haven't listened in a while, and I'm aware of the shit show." All right, well, welcome back to the shit show, Amber. I'm glad we didn't scare you off.
A repeat offender.
Brandon, you know what I'm really impressed of is like, on one side you've got the Trouble Walkin record and the Frehely's Comet record. Well done. Then you've got 2 Ace picture discs, and those are both non-makeup as well.
Oh yeah, it's the Space Invader picture disc. Well, I'm gonna knock all this shit down as I try to pull it, but it's got some pretty cool stuff on the other side as well. It's got the cover and Mr. Frehely on it. And as you know, this was the first Ace record that Mr. Matt Starr played on with Ace. So that was a cool find here in Lexington here recently.
Yeah. Matt Starr, another guy that was too cool for us tonight.
Yeah, I run into Matt at the most random places. It's crazy. Like our block was having a yard sale, and he literally is walking down the street on our block, and I'm like, as I'm selling shit in the front yard, you know what I mean? Like clearing out the garage.
That's great.
Just...
That's such a Matt Starr place to run into him.
Let's do this before we get into the deep Ace talk. Brandon, why don't you talk about your record really quick, which is called Minefield. The album's called Minefield, correct?
Yes, it's just self-titled. So there's a sign on the front of the record, and some people think because there is writing on the sign, it's one of those danger mine signs, just typical Minefield sign. But it is just the actual self-titled debut. But for anybody that doesn't know, it's myself, Todd Kerns from Slash and Bruce Kulick's band, and then Jeremy Asbrock and Matt Starr from Ace Frehley's band. And we've got a 10-song album coming out next Friday, which actually includes a cover of All American Man off the Live 2 Side 4. So
very nice.
Was very excited to get a cover of that recorded.
Anybody that's tuning in late and didn't hear our explanation of the episode at the beginning, this was all planned, and that's why Brandon's on, so he could hype his album that's coming out next week.
I texted everybody and I was like, if you fucking agree to go on that podcast, we are no longer friends. I'm getting my airtime tonight.
Why don't you talk about how you came onto my radar because you know these guys, because I know the guys in the band. How did you get in touch with these guys? How did this whole thing come about?
Well, actually, kind of owe some thanks to Mr. Ace Frehley as well, because I met Jeremy when he was playing with a band called the Shazam when I was 13, living in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and just went down, saw them playing at the local civic center. And Jeremy had never met me before, and we walked up to the stage while they were sound checking, and he invited me and my buddy up on stage to like play his guitars and stuff while they were loading in, and was just very cool to us, and just kept in touch with him, over the years on social media, albeit like we wouldn't talk like for years or something, and it would just be small stuff like commenting on a post or anything like that. And once he got the Ace Frehley gig, I ended up going to see them in Whitesburg, Kentucky, and then I went to see them in Lexington when they were here. So, that just kind of led to me and Jeremy, talking more about music and stuff. And once the quarantine happened, it just, everything kind of worked out for this.
Yeah, that's fucking great. And the other thing that I love that you're doing, and I'm seeing response from it, you have an album that's not out and you're having people cover your songs. And I'm serious. And he's like, I'm seeing the videos pop up of people covering his songs.
Dude, these people put like a lot of time into some of these videos as well. Like one guy covered all 3 singles and had like different shots playing simultaneously. It was, and there's other guys like doing the drum covers with like 4 different angles. And it's very humbling to see somebody, just want to take time out of their day to put a video on YouTube of them playing the song. And we're promoting it as, a contest we're going to pick one of the people who are submitting these cover songs, and we're going to give them a fully signed CD by all 4 of us. So, I mean, there is incentive to do it, but, it still takes time out of their day. They had to learn the song. They had to film it. It's very cool to see people doing that for sure.
Well, then you realize what you have to do. If you do get to play live, when you're in their town, they get to come up and do the song with you.
Absolutely. Of course, it'll be nice to make a fantasy like that happen for somebody. Because, when you're a teenager growing up, when you're listening to the CD with the headphones on or in your room listening to the record, you're always like, one day I'm going to jam with these guys. When you're listening to like Zeppelin as like a 10-year-old or something. And, and it would be very cool to make that happen. I would be very interested in doing that.
Yeah, no, dude, it's so fucking cool, man. I think it's a really cool thing. And the fact you got response from it is just fucking props. Fucking props,
I appreciate it. That's, I was a little questionable going into it, because I was like, that's asking a lot of somebody to do something like that. It's a time consuming thing, and didn't know if there would be one person that entered it or 50. So I think we've had about 10 now, and that's pretty good, man. I'm very satisfied with that response. It's very cool.
Did you guys have this album recorded before COVID, or did you record? Was it one of these projects where you were all in different parts of the country recording?
So none of this had even been talked of until about June of last year.
Wow.
So it started out, I just was going to record another solo record while I had some downtime, and I was going to get a bunch of different people to guest on it. Just any of my friends that I could get to play on my record, I was going to get to play on it. And then I reached out to Jeremy. Then I reached out to Matt, and then I reached out to Todd Kerns, and we started working on, it was supposed to be just one song originally. And we just had so much fun working on the first song or 2 that we were doing, that we were like, there's no reason for us not to do this whole record together. So we ended up recording 10 songs, and comes out next Friday. And I'm so excited to finally get it out there in the world and everybody to be able to hear the entire record.
And you guys have never been in the same room as a band?
I've never been in the same room as Todd Kerns ever.
Great.
The only time I've ever been in the same room as Todd Kerns was at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta when Slash was opening for Aerosmith when I was 18. And he was on stage and I was up in the fucking nosebleeds.
Of course. Of course. First half of the show, really quick, brought to you by Beater Amplification. That's 2 E's, beateramplification.com. 100 watts of testicular fortitude, hand-wired, hand-built, 3 channels, old school Kiss tone, old school Metallica tone, old school AC/DC tone, and that clean-ass old school Fender tone as well. The Izzy Presley one will be available. You just have to call them and say, hey, I want an Izzy Presley amp, and they'll make it. The only difference is that's going to have the old school Fender reverb in it too. So there you go.
Nice.
Check those out. And if you want to get into podcasting or home recording, hit up our good friends over at Mackie, Mackie. Hit up the studio bundles, a very affordable way. They give you everything that you need. And
who do I have to hit up at Mackie since I'm kind of doing this now?
I will get you taken care of, my friend. All you had to do was ask. And I just had to remember because I'm a fucking airhead. That's all.
Well, to be fair, you drink through most of the podcast, and I don't. I'm still in the middle of my work day, so I can't blame you for that. And the sober me still can't get my lighting right. So you know what? We're both shitheads.
And
it happens.
Just a quick shout out to Diamond Dallas Page for hooking me up with the DDPY. If you guys want to get into fixing your body after these COVID times, hit up DDPY and just sign up. That shit's so amazing. It's so fucking good. But I mean, we're here to talk about Ace. We're here to talk about Kiss. We're here to talk about Ace, and especially these 2 records. Do you have thoughts about the first time that you heard these records? I mean, obviously, Brandon, you said the first non-makeup thing you heard was Do Ya.
Yeah, so Trouble Walkin' was the first like entire record or song at all that I listened to, because once I saw the video for Do Ya, I saw it on VH1 Classic on one of the morning video blocks that I don't know if they still play it anymore. I hadn't had cable in years, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I saw Do Ya on there, ended up going and listening to the record, very much enjoyed Trouble Walkin', and I was very excited when they announced that it was coming out for Record Store Day last year. Frehely's Comet was something that I didn't listen to for a little while later, because I was still at that same time still discovering the rest of the Kiss catalog. So I eventually went back to Frehely's Comet, and it's very cool. I mean, it's basically the same lineup of the band minus Todd and insert Richie Scarlett. So
yeah,
the sound's pretty consistent across both records for the most part. But yeah, Trouble Walkin' was definitely the first one.
Well, I think Trouble Walkin's a little bit heavier, because with Todd, you had that pop element in it, you had the keyboards in it, and it really came out in Second Sighting. But with Trouble Walkin', it's more of a balls out record.
There's some heavy stuff on that first one too. I think if I'm picking like favorite songs off of either one, just off the top of my head, Breakout is a standout song to me, and that's a pretty heavy tune, and that's off the Frehely's Comet record. So there's some heavy stuff on there.
I kind of feel like a lot of it, and I guess it's just all of our definition of heavy, because I don't think heavy when I think of these. He's just this, so much of that first album especially just comes across as just kind of, and I don't mean this in a negative way, I just mean it for what it is, like derivative pop from that era.
Yeah.
That, it's just like, I could see why a bunch of this stuff wasn't on Kiss albums. Like, obviously he wasn't in Kiss, so it's not going to be a Kiss album. But I mean, it's just material that just didn't, to me, there was good stuff, but there was also like stuff that could have just as easily been a Loverboy song. I mean, that's kind of how I looked at a lot of it. And it doesn't mean I liked it any less.
Right. Well, and that's kind of what I was saying, especially, when they moved into Second Sighting. I mean, there was a lot of like, whoa, what this is. I mean, there's a reason Second Sighting didn't sell. Even though Insane, which is in the Axe set, freaking rules.
Yeah.
I love that song, but
it rules because Axe doing it.
Well, yeah, but it's still it's that song's got a freaking groove to it, and plus there's chicks half naked in the video. I mean, I can't lie. I can't fucking lie.
I didn't even know there was music in it.
No, I love that song. And look, when we do it, that goes straight into Rock Soldiers, because that ends on E. Then we hold that. Then that's when, Chad will go in the it's a perfect segue to it. It just fucking works. No, but I guess I didn't really mean heavy. I just meant more raw, if that makes sense. It's just more rock and roll to me, the Trouble Walkin' record.
There's as far as heavy aspects on Trouble Walkin', comparing it to not necessarily other stuff on that record, but I think this would be something we might be able to talk about right now before we get into the second half debating album versus album.
We're already having to do the second half. What are you talking about?
Oh, is this the second half? Is it?
No, it is not.
Oh shit! I was like, oh, come on, man. I'm not that out of the loop, am I? Thinking of heavy stuff though, Ace's "Hide Your Heart" version. Comparing it to the Kiss one, I like the music on Ace's more because it's heavier. It's heavier than the instrumentation part on the Kiss record. But I want to know what you guys prefer out of the Kiss or the Ace version for "Hide Your Heart."
Paul, go ahead.
Here's I want to know why they both had to cover it. Like, is there a story behind this that I don't know?
This is why I wish Eddie was here, because Eddie does have all these stories, because he was managing Ace at the time.
I mean, yeah.
But I believe the story was that the song was brought to Ace and it was brought to Kiss, and Kiss wanted him not to do it. But he's like, whatever, I'm going to do it anyway.
Gene called him and asked him not to put it out, and Ace basically gave him the finger, and it was like, I'm putting it out anyway.
It was not a good time for the Ace and Kiss camp.
Yeah.
That's just 89.
Yeah. Because, oh shit, I mean, even at that time, like Eric Carr was supposed to be on at least one song on Trouble Walkin', and
he was down at the studio jamming with Ace and those guys.
Yeah, and Kiss wouldn't let him do it. They would not let him appear on the record.
Such crazy shit to think about
so,
nowadays.
I know, it really is. But Ace's version came out before Kiss's version. So I don't know. I mean, it's so tough. I love them both. I think the Kiss version's a little bit more polished. No pun intended.
I was about to say, did you say polished?
Yeah, polished. It's a little more polished than mine.
Polished.
But it just goes back to the rawness factor. It's such a good song. It's such a well-written song that both of them are amazing. And it's just two different takes on it that they both happen to be great. But because I drank the blue Kool-Aid, I guess you could say, I got to go with the Ace version.
Very cool.
I personally, there's a grit to the Ace version that is undeniable, and that's just Ace. Ace has got that, he's got that New York groove, if you will, that swagger. Frankly, see what I did there? But going back to the Kiss version, it is more polished. It's perfect, and it's a great song. I would probably have to pick the Ace version over the Kiss version myself.
Yeah. In the chat room,
it's a little more. It's just got more swagger and groove to it.
Yeah, exactly. Tall Bear says Eddie. I'm assuming. I don't know if you said Eddie, if he means Eddie Kramer or Eddie Trunk. He just says Eddie. Eddie heard the Kiss demo for Crazy Nights, but Kiss didn't do it, so Eddie said to Ace, "Do the song."
Wait, Eddie?
I don't know which Eddie he's talking about. Because
I don't think it's Trunk.
I was gonna say it had to be Eddie Kramer.
Did Eddie Kramer produce Trouble Walkin'?
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. There's the story. According to Tall Bear, hey, hold on. Oh no, he says Eddie Trunk heard "Hide Your Heart" on Crazy Nights demos, but Kiss didn't do it, so he asked.
Oh,
very cool.
Wow.
All right.
All right, very well.
I think when you take the lyrics into account and what the story is actually telling, the grittiness of Ace's, the instrumentation kind of fit the song more.
Yeah.
But Jesus, that's one of Paul's best vocal takes.
Yeah.
His "Kisses Hide Your Heart."
Right.
Paul sings his ass off on that song.
Oh, he absolutely does.
Well, Paul was a writer on the song too, so I think it's perfect for Paul.
Yeah.
So
was he a writer on the song?
Thought he was.
I actually didn't know that. I don't
think
I
Paul
don't
was a writer on the song. Hold on.
I've got it pulled up.
Well, I'll go into the Google machine.
Oh, I did not realize
he was a writer on that.
Yeah,
It was
Molly Hatchet covered it too.
Yeah, they did.
Paul Stanley, Desmond Child, and Holly Knight. Those are the writers.
See, every once in a while, I know my shit.
Yeah, Bonnie Tyler did it as well.
Well, that's what it's listed as a cover of on the Wikipedia page, is a Bonnie Tyler cover. That's crazy. I had no idea Paul Stanley was a writer on that. That's even crazier that Ace fucking put it out before him now.
And according to the Wikipedia, and we know the Wikipedia is always right.
It never lies.
Bonnie Tyler's was released in 1988. So her version did come out first, which makes sense if it was recorded as a demo for the Crazy Nights record. Because that came out in 87.
So I'm looking at the dates right now. October 17th. So Trouble Walkin came out October 13th, 1989, and Hot in the Shade came out October 17th. Ace's record came out 4 days before. That's amazing. And Paul Stanley was a writer on that. I did not know that. That just makes that story more amazing now.
Yeah, right. No, absolutely. And of course, I mean the cover, fucking Do Ya? Jesus Christ. Well, so I guess it was two covers.
One of the covers.
Yeah, one of the covers.
I think Do Ya is one of Ace's best vocal performances on anything that he's sang on.
Oh, I agree. He fucking nails it. Ace, I mean, look, Ace has a swagger to his voice too, but every once in a while he can pull off some magic.
There's stuff that works, and then there's stuff that is a little, you can tell, out of his comfort zone sometimes. But for the most part, it fits the music, and it wouldn't be Ace Frehley's music without his voice over top of those songs.
I think that's part of. Sometimes I think with Ace, less is more, and when he's not trying to overdo it, the results are a lot better. Because I'm going to be honest, if you haven't noticed, I've been peeking down because I've just been writing a few notes about songs, and it's really funny to me going back, and I didn't have a chance to prepare for this, so it wasn't like, normally when we do these, for 2 or 3 days beforehand, I'm just immersed in the albums and I know the minutia, but just looking back at the track listings, I never would have thought I would have picked the way I did, but it all goes back to a lot of the stuff we're saying right now about a lot of these songs.
I totally get that though, about, Ace sometimes I feel like he might've been trying to do a little more than, just a natural Ace take on it. And I think you get some of that on the first Frehely's Comet record, on maybe a song or two. So that I definitely can relate to that. Yeah.
Yep.
How much do you guys think Eddie Kramer had to do with the sound of Trouble Walkin'?
I think he had a lot to do with it. Absolutely. I think Ace definitely sounds his best. I think Eddie Kramer gets some really good performances out of Ace Frehley. So I think that was definitely a good thing to have him a part of this record.
Yeah, I thought, the production, the album, just to me, there's almost like a retro vibe to the album where you feel like it's a modern take on some of the old standards that we know. Even though it's not a cover album, all the songs have a familiar feel to them.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I always loved about Kiss, and I think that I was instantly related to with Kiss, was that they were pretty unashamedly ripping off bands. They weren't trying to be anything other than, hey, we love the Beatles, we love the Beach Boys, let's see what comes out of this. Boom. And I think there's that. They grew up on music that was a generation before what we grew up on as fans of theirs. And I think the Trouble Walkin' record, to me, wears that influence on its sleeve a lot more than the Frehely's Comet records did, because I feel like those were more Ace doing rock records, and this was more just Ace being Ace.
Yeah.
Kind of like on those early records, Kiss was just Kiss.
Yeah, exactly. I have always thought that, going back to Hide Your Heart, I always thought that Ace's version of that song is what Kiss would have sounded like if Ace had never left the band.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Could you? But then it would have changed the whole trajectory of Kiss. You know, it's so weird to think about that stuff.
There's too many ifs and buts. I wouldn't change any of it. We got awesome Kiss records out of them whenever Ace wasn't in the band. We got awesome Ace records, albeit, you know, in a very short period, and then for not a long time. The stuff Ace did put out in the late 80s was good stuff. So I would just leave it the way it is and take the records we got.
Yeah, but it is still fun to think about what Kiss would have sounded like in the 80s, and you know, like where Kiss would have went in the 80s if they would have had the success that they had in the 80s if Ace was still in the band.
Maybe. I don't know. That's a weirder thing to think about, because I don't know, Ace was still there at the Creatures stuff whenever that was happening, and it was already going downhill then. So
yeah, but he wasn't on the record.
But he was still at all the promo tours, in makeup, signing the records and everything, as far as anybody was concerned. Even up until like the days of going to the concerts, people thought that Ace was still in the band. And things were already on a downslope then. So I don't think Ace stayed in the band. Would have changed too much.
But look, it's not like they were gonna, you know, record "Lick It Up" with Vinnie Vincent and have Ace try to play those licks. It wasn't gonna happen.
Well, no, they definitely wouldn't have done that. I think if Ace would have stayed in the band, that was definitely a one-time thing for like Creatures, you know, where Ace isn't on the record one bit at all. Not to say that, like, I mean, of course, there was tons of stuff Ace didn't play on over the course of the rest of the catalog. Not tons, but you know how it is with those guys. You know, Ace played bass on all his songs, and, you know, Gene pretty much only played bass on the songs that he was singing towards, you know, the last years that Ace was in the band. But I don't know. I really don't think it would have changed too much if Ace would have stayed in the band. That was already headed towards that while he was in it.
I don't know. I kind of feel like things happen for a reason. And especially on the side of the business that I'm on now. I mean, Ace, we could speculate what could have happened, but at the end of the day, it never would have happened because they were just done. So at the end of the day, like all the speculation in the world, it's a fun thing to do, like just to speculate. But the reality is, if Ace could play the material, Ace would have been in the band. If Ace wasn't impossible to deal with, he would have been in the band. Ace, you know, there's a reason why Ace isn't in Kiss today. Period. End of story. And whether people like it or not, the fact of the matter is, you know, Gene and Paul have absolutely zero desire to play with Ace. And this isn't a new thing. I mean, Ace has proven time and time again.
Oh, these guys come out in interviews every 6 months and talk about how they don't want to play with Ace again. So nothing's being said that, you know, that these guys don't regularly say on their own.
And there's reasons why, but the thing that gets forget, everyone just thinks they're jerks because they don't want, and everybody just picks on them and makes jokes about Tommy Thayer. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why they don't want to be in a band with him. And, you know, whether he can still play the songs like he used to or not, I don't know. The reality is, when he left the band, he was out for a reason. And I don't think, for me, I don't even need to rationalize or think about what they would have sounded like if he stayed, because he wasn't staying at that point. I mean, he's done, and that was the end. You know, so for me, it's just like it was the natural progress of the band.
Do you guys think that? Do you think with, you know, when everything is back running full tilt, if Kiss is having trouble selling tickets for this end of the road tour that we don't know when the end of the road is going to be, do you think that there will be a phone call made at some point? Do you think it would be enough to bump the ticket sales?
Absolutely not. No way. I think that the closest we are going to get to any of that is, I think at that final show at Madison Square Garden, they'll probably extend an invitation to Ace and Peter to come play Rock and Roll All Night at the end of the final show. And I think logistically, that's just the closest we're ever going to get to anything like that. And that's even a maybe, because Peter's very vocal about he's not really buds with anybody in the Kiss camp anymore, really. So I don't even know if Peter would go take part in something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna respectfully disagree wholeheartedly because absolutely it is no disrespect to Tommy and Eric, who at this point I'd rather see Tommy and Eric play full shows. That said, I would love to see Ace and Peter back, but like I said, there's a reason why they aren't back for the tour.
Right.
And ultimately, we could get into the business of it, which delineates pretty easily if you want to break it down. But the fact of the matter is, there's more money to be made if you have those guys there. Right. And to be honest with you, I can't imagine that there won't be a strong effort to get at least a handful of shows under their belts with the full band. It's just, you're leaving way too much money on the table. Well, and that's what everything boils down to today. How much money are you willing to leave on the table? Because after the reunion tour is over and they're done and they're retired, what happens when somebody comes and says, we'll pay you $5 million to put the original lineup together for a 40-minute show? Do you think they're not going to consider it? Like, that's just the world we live in today. Someone in Abu Dhabi is going to pay them to do this because they got more money than they know what to do with. And
look, the only problem is, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but like the only problem is,
if you don't cut me off, I'll just keep talking. So
I know. The only problem is like Peter can't play a full show.
That's exactly what I was about to ask. Peter Chris is almost 76
years old. Did you hear me just say 30 minutes or 40 minutes for $5 million?
Dude, 30, 40 minutes in that full costume, though, at 75 or 76, though, man, I mean, fuck, I about have a heat stroke on stage every night, and I'm a third of the guy's age, and I'm wearing a third of the clothes he's wearing. But it's just realistically, Peter Chris is 75 years old now. Just anybody that's 75, not just Peter Chris, not knocking him personally, any drummer that's 75 years old that hasn't played one concert in 3 years, I think 3-4 years ago was when Peter played his retirement concert.
Are we talking about Peter though, or are we talking about Ace for the most part?
Peter.
Oh, Peter right now.
The question was more Ace, wasn't it?
Well, I just asked if Peter could make it through a whole 30 or 40 minute set. So Peter hasn't played a show in like 3 years, and it's not just a personal thing with him. Anybody that's 75 years old getting in full Kiss costume, playing that 30, 40 minute set, that's a big task for anybody of that age.
Yeah. Well, look, Amber's got a good point too. It's like, she goes, too bad they didn't even play together at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that's the thing that really, I mean, fuck, we can talk about that for another fucking hour and bitch about it. The fact that they always say it's for the fans, it's for the fans, it's for the fans. Well, the fans, they got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because of the fans. They wouldn't fucking play a song with the original guys. You know, it's just fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
It's a little weird with that situation. There definitely should have been more guys on the induction than those original four, because you have bands like the Grateful Dead where there's like 30 fucking people.
Well, Bruce definitely should have been in that.
Yeah, Eric Carr should have been in there. And I mean, realistically, I think the best thing they could have done is just include everybody.
Yeah.
Kiss has such an iconic history with everybody that has been in that band. And it's not like there's a whole bunch. Yeah. But really everybody that's in there has a history. Even like Mark St. John, it might be small, but without him, Bruce Kulick might not have ever been in Kiss in the capacity he was.
That's a great point.
I think realistically, everybody should have been inducted. And I think had everybody been inducted, it totally would have been a different situation. I think that was more of a FU to the Hall than it was not wanting to do something for the fans.
I don't know. I think if they wanted to FU the Hall, they wouldn't have showed up.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's do this. Let's take a short little break, and let's come back and let's get into this fucking throwdown. But before we go, I want to say this, Andrew Chase. Last show should be the Elder Acoustic in its entirety. All right, it is Metal Edge Magazine's another fucking podcast. Paul Gargano, Izzy Presley. Our guest is Brandon Fields. When we come back, we will do the throwdown of Frehely's Comet versus Trouble Walkin.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum,
Vinny Todorich here.
Hey man, if you're a fan of Izzy, you might be a fan of me too. I'm the guy that gets people to lose a lot of weight. I have something free for you guys. This is no clickbait. Just go to VinnyTortorich.com and there's a big banner. It's a free PDF, how to lose weight. It's an intro guide to NSNG at VinnyTortorich.com. Go check it out exclusively for anyone who listens to Izzy Presley. Thank you.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that band shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, halter tops, lace-up tees, and tube-top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsrocks.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for special offers and custom orders. Use the code IZZY25 for 25% off of your entire order at sasspantsrocks.com. That's sasspantsrocks.com. Let Sass Pants make you the envy of the party.
Rockwood Saloon Authentic Apparel takes rock and roll fashion to a new level with their tees and tanks for men and women. They also make custom shirts, jackets, vests, pants, hoodies, beanies, and more. The Rockwood Graphics Department can design anything from your logo, t-shirt design, promo posters, band swag, and printed at great prices. From tour shirts and custom stage gear to killer threads for the street to the stage, Rockwood Saloon has it all. Rockwood Saloon, authentic rock and roll apparel for stage and street. World tour tested for quality, comfort, style, and durability. Check them out at www.rockwoodsaloon.com. That's rockwoodsaloon.com.
It's been a long time since we've rock and rolled, but that all changes this August as Rockin' Pod returns to Nashville. This annual convention brings together rock artists, fans, and podcasters for an unforgettable rock experience. Special guests this year include Billy Sheehan, Ron Keel, Don Jameson of That Metal Show, and current and former members of Winger, LA Guns, Accept, and more. Stage panels, signing sessions, and photo ops will be available, plus lots of vinyl and memorabilia vendors. Music podcasters from all over North America will be appearing on site for live interviews, speaking sessions, networking, and more. Got a music podcast? Register and join us. Rockin' Pod Weekend kicks off with a pre-party featuring former Tesla guitarist Tommy Skio and his new band Resist and Bite, making their debut performance, as well as a rare hair set featuring surprise guests performing all-time classics. Rockin' Pod Weekend takes place August 6th through the 8th in Nashville, Tennessee. Tickets, VIP passes, podcast registration, and discounted hotel rooms are available now at rocknpod.com. Rockin' Pod is brought to you by DBG Productions, Bradley Entertainment, and Incaptia.
A reading from the book of Ace. Chapter Frehely's Comet. Verse Dolls. I love my dolls. You must believe me. It's plain to see they really love me. I love my dolls. They'll never leave me happily. Praise be to Ace.
Oh. Happy birthday, Ace. Happy 70th. And big thank you to Mike Dawson from the Adam Carolla Show for voicing those every week. If you need voiceover done, make sure you hit up DosAngeles.com. Or is it MikeDawson.com? One of the two. You just Google it. You'll fucking find him. And yeah, obviously you hear the guy does great work. Second half of the show brought to you by A&P Laser. Yes, Oz is back to work. He has recovered from his stroke and he is back to laser engraving. So Mother's Day is coming up. Father's Day is coming up. You want to get something special for mommy and daddy, or mommy or daddy, or your wife or something? Hit up aplasers.com. They'll get you guys taken care of. They're so good they can even laser engrave a hot dog bun. And our good friend John Palumbo. John Palumbo Design. You have a band, you have a business, you need a website, you need a logo. Hit up our good friend John Palumbo. John Palumbo Design.
I might have to hit John Palumbo up. He does websites?
Yeah.
I'm interested in these laser engraved hot dog buns. That is what I took away from that. You're shitting me. That's insane.
I've seen it done, dude. It's insanity. The guy's so fucking good. And we should have, so since he's back to work, that means we should have the fucking roadie packs coming back. That is the old school Another Effing Podcast logo. And your name can be laser engraved on it and have it nice and personalized for you. It's in a large tumbler that can use for coffee or, cold drinks like Lori likes to use his for. It's got a Zippo lighter. It's a Zippo type lighter, dog tag, and a
Zippo type lighter. Sorry.
Type lighter.
The Vietnamese knockoff.
And welcome Lori from Australia. He's been here for a little bit, but the Killer Koala is in the house. And he says he loves his roadie pack. So there you go. Should we get into this fucking throwdown? Should we see what happens here?
Let's do it.
I have a prediction to make. I predict that Ace Frehley is going to win.
Yes. To the people that were not able to make it, I'm going to read a couple of their choices off. Okay. Patrick didn't give me one. Matt Larson.
Screw the people that couldn't make it.
Yeah, Matt Larson was being a pussy.
We're giving them airtime right now. Come on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Chad Stewart says, what do you say? Frehely's Comet wins, hands down. Let's see.
Interesting.
Kent from Kent Slutcher says Frehely's Comet, hands down. Oh God, there's one more that I'm missing.
Keep eating stale chips while you keep reading these.
Yeah, exactly. And Tony Higbee from
nice.
From Kiefer's band says Frehely's Comet. I think they're all wrong, but that's just me. That's just
awesome.
So I think we'll find out.
I think we are going to find out. I'm rather excited about this. Paul, you have the score sheet.
Nice. I just texted Todd Kerns as well and asked him what he thought about it. So.
Nice. Todd will get back to you in about 2.5 weeks.
Well, I have to go through his agent and then his agent's agent, and then I'll get his answer from him. I'm just kidding. I have to talk to him through Cameo. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Pay $50 for a response every time.
Well played. Well played. All right, Paulie, what do we got?
First song, Rock Soldiers versus Shop Full of Rock. And I'm just going to go on the record and say Rock Soldiers.
That
is the greatest Ace Frehley song. That is the greatest post-Kiss Ace Frehley song ever.
I disagree.
In my opinion.
In your humble opinion. Well, I think this one's a slam dunk. I think it is Rock Soldiers. This should have been the lead single on the record. I think the record would have done more if this would have been the lead single instead of Into the Night, which I love. But this song is more Ace.
I think if there was any other song up against Shop Full of Rock, it would be that song. But because it's Rock Soldiers, it has to be that one.
Yeah,
you can't be an Ace fan and say that it's not Rock Soldiers.
Exactly. All right, song 2, Breakout versus Do Ya.
I got Do Ya. I don't care that it's a cover. It's such a great fucking version of it. Breakout's cool. I mean, Todd's fucking vocals are amazing in it. Great riff, but Do Ya is so iconic. And when we do it, I always go, and they sang Rip It Out and the New York Groove, and I heard instead of, whatever. Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you completely. I love covers, so I don't feel bad picking a cover, and that's just a fantastic song. I'm going with Do Ya also. Brandon, it's all on you. Is it a sweep or are you going Breakout?
It's a tough choice for me because, like I said, Do Ya was the first thing I ever saw Ace in outside of Kiss on VH1, and that's what introduced me to Trouble Walkin'. But man, Breakout is just such a badass tune, man. One of my favorite videos of Ace playing ever is, I don't know if you guys have seen it, there's like a studio clip of them playing Breakout. And dude, it's just so awesome to watch them play that. Anton Fig's a fucking monster behind the kit. It's really tough for me to choose. I think I would have to go Do Ya just because of the connection I have with Solo Ace because of that song. But that's not to discredit Breakout. That's a badass tune.
I've heard crowds singing out of tune as they sat and sang Rip It Out and the New York Groove, and I've heard. That's how it goes. There we go.
Perfect.
Track 3. Sorry, I've got in the advertising segment of the night, Girl Scout Thin Mint covered almonds. That
nice.
Because I think I have a tapeworm. I haven't been able to stop eating all day today. Izzy's drinking. Izzy's drinking, and I'm stuffing my face. So Into the Night from Frehely's Comet, 5-card stud.
Oh, 5-card stud. It's 5-card stud. That's one of my favorite Ace songs ever. That is such a great tune. 100%.
Go ahead, Paul.
No, I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna give my 5-card stud story that I might not be supposed to tell, but I'm gonna tell it.
So
I told the person you never said off the record. Just because I haven't been a journalist for most of the past decade doesn't mean I forgot the rules. You never said off the record.
That's right. So if I'm looking at my top 7 songs that I sent into Eddie Trunk today for his 7 on 70 for Ace's birthday, at number 6, and I think this is the very first live song I ever saw Ace play, would be 5-card stud.
So that's all right. Well, I am personally going to hold off on my answer until I tell this little story. So I cannot reveal my sources, but a little birdie told me that 5-card stud was a Cold Sweat song that got declined.
Ooh.
Mark Ferrari brought it to the band. They didn't want to do it. It didn't make the album. And he basically said, screw you guys. I'm going to do it with someone better. And then Ace did it. So, yeah, that was 5-card stud was originally written by Ferrari.
Yeah.
For a Cold Sweat album that never happened.
That's awesome.
That would explain why
I will tell you that Mark Ferrari is not the person that told me that. I will give you that. And then that's just, we're gonna end it right there before I get too specific.
Well, and that would explain why Mark Ferrari is listed as a co-writer with Ace Frehley.
Yes. So, and I'm picking 5-card stud also, not just because Mark Ferrari wrote for Metal Edge for a long time. And not
I didn't know that.
Because Mark Ferrari is a great guy, but
Yes,
because I like the song more than Into the Night.
And I will preface this and say that, well, I guess it's not preface anymore because I already gave my answer. But the guys, Chad always gets pissed at me for wanting to do Into the Night. But I'm like, dude, it's such a good song. We got to have that in the fucking set. It's such a good song, you know, and it's a song that Ace doesn't do. So there you go.
There's a lot of songs Ace doesn't do.
Yeah.
All right, 4th song, Something Moved versus Hide Your Heart.
Hide Your Heart. Hide Your Heart.
Yeah, I mean, especially now knowing that Paul Stanley was a co-writer on that song and Ace fucking put it out, that is just the cherry on top for the song for me. So I got to go Hide Your Heart.
And I'm going Hide Your Heart too. I got to go Hide Your Heart. I got, like, that's Something Moved. I think I said earlier, that's one of those songs. I really would love to hear Frehely's Comet remixed because I feel like the album starts to fall flat to me at times. And that's like one of those moments too, where I just feel like that could be a Loverboy song. Yeah. I'm just, and I feel that way about a bunch of it. And I don't know if it was the production. I feel like maybe it was Ace trying to be a band and not Ace just being enraptured by who Ace is. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like Eddie Kramer just nailed that.
Yeah, because people want to hear Ace.
People want to hear Ace. Yeah. Yep.
Well, Eddie Kramer did both records, but I totally get that feeling that Ace was, which, they named the second record was technically under Frehely's Comet. Yeah. Like he was trying more for the band aspect, and then you get more natural Ace on Trouble Walkin'.
don't. I mean, he's stuck with Eddie for a reason, and from a production standpoint, you know, I feel like Eddie. And again, I'm making this up. I don't know Eddie Kramer, but I feel, guys, it's freaking raining. My computer is under. It's raining here now. How crazy is this? Okay, so
Not as jealous anymore.
I got it stuck. Yeah, I'm sitting outside in the rain, and it's raining on my computer. But I feel like Eddie just finally was like, "Let me do my thing. Just trust me on this one, guys."
It's
I don't
funny.
know.
It never rains in Southern California, but it does in Palm Springs.
It does in Palm Springs. We're in the desert, baby. All right. Next song. We Got Your Rock versus Lost in Limbo.
You go first, Izzy.
Fuck. This is a hard one because neither of these are great songs. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. Neither these are two filler songs.
Want me to? I'll jump in.
There's a right choice.
I'll jump in here. I'll jump in here so you have a chance to think a little bit, because I'm going to say one of the things that really Trouble Walking was always about for me was the groove.
Yeah.
And it was a less is more feel, and it was the groove. There was like I said earlier, there was that retro feel, and his Lost in Limbo has a bit of a retro feel to me, and like it's his take on something from like decades ago, and it's just the groove is solid. And We Got Your Rock to me is just derivative. We Got Your Rock, really, like you could hear that from any local band in any city in America, and the lyrics would have been exactly the same, and it wouldn't have sounded much different, like if they wrote it themselves. I just feel like Lost in Limbo it feels better. It's more fun. It flows. I like it. I'm going Lost in Limbo.
Paul, really quick. Scotty from Canada says, "Boo hoo! It's freaking snowing here." All right.
It's,
Nice.
Here we got can I do this right? Can I gray clouds? Can you see that?
As he drops his computer into that fountain that's behind him.
Brandon, what do you got?
I think I definitely have to go Lost in Limbo as well. A lot of what Paul said, there's definitely more substance to that song. It flows more with that album. You know, like you said, kind of a filler for the other one off Frehely's comments. So Lost in Limbo, definitely.
Well, after hearing somebody that's much smarter than I explain it, I'm going to have to agree with Paul and go Lost in Limbo.
For the record, we have all agreed on every single track so far, and it's a bloodbath. But let's just keep going. We have not disagreed on a track yet, though. All three of us are like, we might have a new thing going here. Like this holy shit, there's a half hour to go, and I didn't even know what the topic was. We're doing all right. Like, we might have this.
Yeah. Well,
look, Costello, we might be the Three Stooges. This is actually
look at the bright side of this. If we're all agreeing, that means that I'm right, as always.
That's what I'm saying. You didn't need any guests then. You could have just came on here and be like, no, I know for a fact that these are the answers.
All right. What are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th song. Love Me Right versus Trouble Walkin'.
Oh, fuck. I mean, this is a Zach Morris no-brainer.
It's the title track.
It sucks because Love Me Right is one of my favorite tracks on Frehely's Comet, but dude, fucking Trouble Walkin'. It's Trouble Walkin'.
Yeah, it's got to be Trouble Walkin'. I wish Ace would play that fucking song, man. Bad.
I like Love Me Right. It's one of my favorite songs on that record, but it's got to be Trouble Walkin'.
Yep.
It's just, that's it. So
Ace does not play Trouble Walkin'. We have played Trouble Walkin'. Ace does not play Into the Night. We play Into the Night. Ace does not play oh fuck.
I think the only Frehely's Comet song he plays is Rock Soldiers.
Yeah, and we do oh Jesus Christ. What's the studio track on Live Plus 4?
I don't know. I'm looking at it on my wall right
now. Words Are Not Enough. We've even done Words Are Not Enough.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, there's a lot of shit I wish Ace would play, but I feel like Trouble Walkin', he can still knock that out of the park. It's a pretty, the chorus.
And he's got people there that can sing the high shit.
Well, he's got those guys that can fucking help and sing anything. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Every guy in the band's a fucking singer.
All right, track 7. Calling to You versus Too Young to Die.
You can go first, Izzy.
I'm going Calling to You. I've always liked Calling to You. I've always enjoyed that song. Calling to you. It's a great pop rock song.
All right.
I am definitely going for the Trouble Walking track. I think when you talk about how this was more of a relaxed album, that song is one of the more that, it's just a very like a chill song. That's Ace kind of at his, I don't want to say loosest, but that's a very Ace track, I think. So I definitely got to go for the Trouble Walking side.
Brandon, I agree with you. If this Izzy guy doesn't work out, you might be a new co-host. Yeah, I agree with you completely. I feel like there's just like there's a texture and a tone to Too Young to Die that I love. And Izzy, everything you said about Calling to You is true. It's a rock song, but that to me is part of the problem. It's just a rock song. There's nothing special about it. To me, Too Young to Die, it's a fun one. I like it.
It's an Ace song, man. That sounds like it could be on any of Ace's records that he's put out.
So, Izzy, you are so far out of the first 7 songs, you're the only dissenting opinion.
We were this close, Izzy. Come on, man.
That much.
And it would have been Izzy, the one that had to have the opposite opinion on it.
Come on. Of course it was Izzy. It wasn't going to be any of us.
You want the crazy Kiss opinions? Go to Izzy. He will blow your mind with some shit.
Yes, I will.
All right, track number 8, Dolls.
Why you don't even have to name the other track.
Dolls versus Back to School.
And I mean,
not the Rodney Dangerfield movie, by the way.
Which rules?
But so do the guests that were on Back to School, the track as well.
Yes.
And let's go ahead and get it over with. Izzy, come on. Who was on that track? Come on.
I didn't prep for this at all, so you're gonna have to tell me who the guests are because I didn't look it up.
There were two
Peter Chris on the drums.
He didn't play drums on. He just did. Well, no, you were doing the kissing.
Yeah, backup. Yeah, exactly. But hold on. Peter actually did sing backup vocals on Hide Your Heart and Trouble Walkin' and Too Young to Die and Back to School.
Yeah, he was hanging out with Ace quite a bit, it seems like.
Dude, and fucking from Skid Row was Rachel Bolin, Dave Snake Sabo, and Sebastian Bach.
We made it through 8. We literally made it through. This is the farthest we've ever made it without hearing Sebastian Bach imitation.
Hey, it was.
You know what? I'll eat to that.
That's amazing.
And Pepe Castro, whoever the fuck that is, Al Fritsch, and Pat Summers. I don't know who those people are, but.
All right. Well, I'll go first on this one. I'm giving the old triple Lindsay to Back to School. I feel like Dolls it's like it was a bad attempt at doing the Cars or something.
I don't know how the fuck that song made it on the record.
Like a demo that just never, they forgot to cut. It was like they purposely put Dolls on so that it would have 10 tracks so that in 2021 we could put it up. Literally.
Ace Frehley only got away with putting that song on that record because he was Ace Frehley.
Yeah, right.
And it was his first record after Kiss. Honestly, it does blow my mind how with Frehley's Comet being more of a band situation, it being Ace's first release post Kiss, Eddie Kramer being there, the fact that fucking Dolls was on that record in the capacity it was, it's like, man, somebody could have fucking said something. Like,
yeah, it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, a lot of people are probably going to expect me to say Dolls for all those fucking points, but no, it's Back to School.
I didn't even think about it, but I just raised my hand because I was totally expecting you to just go ahead and be like Dolls.
And then tell us that Act covers dolls. Yeah.
No, we do
They
not.
open with it. Yeah, that's great.
Gerald says Ace once did the triple Lindy off the stage. Okay, yeah, that didn't happen. Tall Bear says Ace's daughter sings on dolls. I did not know that. Lori, you guys have me in stitches. Well, I'm glad you're being entertained by this. That's what it's all about, eh?
Hey, that's you know what, that is what it's all. We have ourselves in stitches too.
That's great.
And if I'm not mistaken, it is 12:15 in Australia right now. Every time I always ask Lori what time it is when we're after the show, and I always get I'm off by an hour. So
it's 14, I think. Well, depending on where you're at, I think 14 hours ahead. Is that right, or is it 10? I know it's either 2 more or 2 less than 12.
Well, he's in Brisbane.
Oh, nice.
But sometimes my Aussie accent comes out like a Beatles accent, you know.
All right, the track number 9, Stranger in a Strange Land, not the Iron Maiden version, versus Remember Me, not Skid Row, I Remember You.
Stranger in a Strange Land.
Stranger in a Strange Land versus Remember Me.
Stranger in a Strange Land.
Yeah, the other one was a live track, wasn't it? Yeah.
It wasn't really live. It was
yeah.
Live.
Yeah, live like any other Kiss record.
So you're going Izzy, you're going Stranger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably have to go with that one as well. That's I think that's the first one besides Rock Soldiers I've taken off of
it is
Frehely's Comet.
You know what? I wish I could have a quick refresher in. Hold on. I'm doing a quick refresher. Hold on. I'm cheating. Give me a minute. Ace Frehley. Wait, I'm in Apple Music.
You guys can be mad at me right now for not reaching out to John Regan to join us, by the way.
Oh God. Well, look, when we're trying to figure it all out in 3 hours, we don't always think of everything. Yeah.
That's right. We're making it through the episode. That's all that matters. We are rolling.
I'm lucky I have a Zoom connection with the internet at this place, so I'm not even going to try. I kind of I for some reason I'm thinking it's Remember Me. I'm going Remember Me. And the only reason is the best thing I can remember about Stranger in a Strange Land is that Iron Maiden have a song called the same thing. So I'm going to go with Remember Me.
All right.
I'm going Remember Me.
Lori says you are correct on the time there, and he also says Izzy's Aussie accent sounds like Ozzy Osbourne, you know. Except you can understand me a little bit.
And then the last one we have here is Fractured 2 versus Fractured 3.
So such great to have those together against each other.
So good. I'm just going to tell you, being the editor-in-chief, being the guy that worries about grammar, being the guy that gets so pissed off when people use the wrong versions of two constantly. It's like, dude, we learned that in like 5th grade. You can't get it right at like 50 years later. I'm going with Fractured 2 because Ace used the right version of 2 and it made me happy. And you know what? That is it for grammar. The grammar police are giving Fractured 2. That's my opinion. So,
Brandon,
I think I'm gonna have to go with Fractured 3. It's a little more obscure, I guess, for typical Ace guitar playing. I think you hear him do some stuff on that track a little more that's not necessarily out of his element, so to say, but something a little more obscure for his typical taste. So I think I'm definitely going to have to go with the third one.
You can tell the truth. You don't know the difference between 2, 2, and 2, so you're going with the 3 because it's just easier to figure out.
Dude, I'm a total grammar Nazi. No, when it comes to that, in there kills me as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I will correct myself. Like if it'll occasionally just, every once in a while it'll happen like in text. And I'll always correct it, and I'll always follow it with like, "What the fuck is wrong with me?"
Yep, I agree. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong with you, but I agree with you.
I've never actually paid attention to a Fractured after Fractured 1. off of the 78 solo
So
record.
who gave a more compelling argument is what we have to ask.
Yes, I got to go with you fucks grammar
Rest in
police
peace all over again.
Yeah. I gotta go with the I gotta go with 2.
You're going 2.
There's no wrong answer. Both of them kick ass. It's, that I could make an argument just as much for 2 as I could for 3, but if I had to choose, I'm taking 3.
So we had 1, 2, 3. Well, yeah. So 3 tracks won on Frehely on the first album, and 7 won on the other. So obviously Trouble Walkin'. But here's the thing: 7-3 is a landslide enough. But when you go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 8. Yeah, 22 to 8 is what the total numbers were. So it was a pretty big landslide.
Yeah. When I commented on your post on Instagram earlier, when you posted the flyer, I put Trouble Walkin' in the comments. It's like I didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Like, and I got to be honest with you, I would have thought, like, when I saw this, my initial gut, because Izzy and I are so in sync and we plan everything out so well. Like I said, at 5:30 Pacific time or Hotel California time, I was like, well, we haven't even promoted this yet, so maybe we skip this week. Oh no, and he sends me the flyer, and I went, oh shit. I could only imagine now that if John Lowry told me he was available, and I told him we're going to be celebrating Ace's birthday and didn't tell him what we'd actually be doing, what would happen. But the
winner.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah,
for anybody that's never seen this vinyl, it's just fucking killer looking.
That's really cool.
So awesome.
Yeah, but Lord,
my gut was that first record was going to win, and then when I started looking at all the tracks, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I got a concert shirt at the Maiden show that he opened, and I'm sure we can all relate to this, except for maybe you, Brandon, because I'm talking about we all, meaning Izzy, I, and all the listeners that are over the age of 12. Like, shirts, and the shirts just disappear. We don't know what happens to them. Like, I don't know what ever happened to my Ace Frehley, Frehely's Comet shirt with the ace on the front of it. It was a gray shirt.
Oh.
Yeah, it was gray. And I remember buying it at the Maiden show. Love the shirt. Have no idea where it is. I believe I had Ace sign it at some point too.
Yeah, shirts are they'll disappear on you for sure.
Yeah, they just it's not like anyone took it. It just they vanish. I don't know where it's like socks.
That's such an odd pairing though, to have Ace opening up for Maiden, but when you think more about that tour, GNR opened up for Maiden on that Seventh Sons tour as well.
Yeah,
and of course there's whole stories from that, but having Ace as well, it's weird that they had on that tour, typical like bluesy rock bands like Ace and Guns N' Roses instead of, like there was the late 80s, there was no shortage of good metal. So
yeah, I thought that was a good tour though. I thought they matched up well, and like one of the best stage rushes ever. We started 8th row and we were dead center, front row on the stage for Maiden. It was amazing.
Nice.
I miss being young and being in the middle of stage rushes, because people today don't even know what stage rushes are.
Yeah, right. So I just a big shout out and thank you to Mr. Ace Von Johnson for
nice
giving me this. This is original.
Oh, nice.
It's a medium, so my skinny fat ass is gonna have to turn into a skinny ass again so I can fit in.
You mean Ace Von unavailable tonight?
Well, Ace Von, not a Kiss fan.
Yeah.
Hey, and it was funny. Todd texted me back like 5 seconds after I texted him, and I totally just never saw it until now, I think, where I saw it and I forgot about it. I don't know. It's been a long.
So who gave Todd a hard time, and now you're the one? See?
Yeah, right.
Todd said that he's more of a Comet man himself. So out of all the debating we did, Todd's still going to go for the other one.
Amber says Vinnie Vincent Invasion opened for Maiden as well.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Gerald says Ace once wore a tutu.
That would have been a great. We could do a Vinnie Vincent versus Frehely's Comet at some point.
That's a bloodbath.
Do the second Vinnie Vincent album versus the second Frehely's album.
One
I can
good
tell you
song.
right now, I love Vinnie Vincent's Invasion, so.
Man, I'm a big fan of Vinnie Vincent's work in Kiss. I fucking love Lick It Up. I think you can argue that Vinnie Vincent wrote the best songs on Revenge when they brought him back to work on that record. Creatures fucking kicks ass. I know he's not on the entire record, but what he does play on it kicks ass. And when you think of Creatures in the Night, you think of Vinnie Vincent. So I'm a big fan of Vinnie Vincent's contributions to the Kiss catalog. Vinnie Vincent's Invasion, you know, it's different than the Kiss stuff, of course. And then you had Mark Slaughter on the second record, which he sings his ass off. So
Oh, plus getting that placement in that fucking Nightmare on Elm Street movie probably helped a little bit as well.
Which one were they in?
I think it was Dream. Was it the Dream Warriors or was it 4?
I don't know. Well, Dream Warriors were they on the same one as
No, I think it was 4. I think it was because Dream Warriors was 3, so that would have been the 4th one, I believe.
Let me look. We have this thing called the internet. If my web connection works, like literally, my wife and I are both working from our friend's place in Palm Springs, and she uses it as a rental property, so she doesn't have. She's got like basic internet. And the two of us, like Rika's in a banking system, and I'm doing Zoom calls and everything else, and it's just like we can't even get web pages to load. It's crazy. All right, so Nightmare on Elm Street. It would help if I could type.
Your keyboard's covered in water too, right?
Well,
yeah, Scotty.
Light drizzle. So
Amber and Scotty both say it was 4, the Dream Master.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Because I'm not even my thing's not even spinning. The acorn is spinning. It's not. So there's an acorn. My acorn is not spinning.
Paul, why don't you you want to tell everybody what's coming up next week?
What is next week? Oh, next week.
Next week. We got a good one next week.
Next week is huge. Next week we have round deuce. Right. Wait, round deuce. Round dose. Round two. Round TOO.
Round do.
We have the second set of Kiss albums. We are returning the original lineup from the first round. We have Charlie Benante next week, Mike Portnoy, and Charlie, Mike, and Roy Mayorga. So we have some Anthrax, some Stone Sour, and some every prog band that ever mattered. Eddie Trunk probably not going to be able to make it because he's traveling, but we are going to be doing Destroyer, Love Gun, and Rock and Roll Over.
Oh, nice.
So with the same crew that had a blast doing the first ones. So be prepared for about 2.5 hours.
So that sounds badass. I'll definitely be listening to that. Out of those 3, me personally taking Love Gun right off the bat out of all 3 of those.
Taking Love Gun?
Yeah, absolutely.
Love
if
Gun.
I could drop Then She Kissed Me off of it, it'd be like the perfect Kiss record.
Well, we did Rock and Roll Over versus Love Gun. Paul, were you on for that one?
No.
I don't even remember who won. I think it was Love Gun that won when we did Rock and Roll Over versus Love Gun. Everybody thought Rock and Roll Over was going to walk away and just fucking stomp all over Love Gun, and I think Love Gun eked it out.
The thing about Kiss that's always so engaging is that everybody's got their own opinions, and they all are swear that they're right for the reasons they're right for, and it just, you know, we all just feel passionate about it.
Yeah.
Until the makeup, I don't feel passionate about non-makeup Kiss. I feel passionate about makeup Kiss.
But I like non-makeup Kiss.
I'm not. It's fine for what it is. I'm not passionate about it. I'm just like, give me smashes, thrashes, and hits, and I'm fine.
Oh no. No, I'll take the Elder over smashes and thrashes. Dude, I cannot listen to smashes and thrashes, dude. Those fucking drums, man. Those drums kill me every time I listen to that. Like, I love it loud. Dude, that starts and I'm just like, oh, this is
my point was I'll take the greatest record. That was my point. I'll just take the greatest hits for that. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not as much of a greatest hits as much as them like, hey, you remember those songs you like? How about we make them to where you don't like them? Like,
you want to? Do you want to? Go ahead.
Of like greatest hits albums we don't like.
The GNR one gets shit on a lot, but I actually like that one. You know, because everybody bitches about, you know, there being too many of just the standard shit, but that's what a fucking greatest hits is.
I am not a greatest hits guy. I like listening to the albums. I'm not. I've never been a big fan of greatest hits records.
Lori says that Love Gun did win. Gerald says I happen to love, and
somehow fucking Moth has made it into this room.
It's competing with my Rain.
And
that's why I'm like swiping like a crazy person.
Gerald and Gerald now is a very, very, very smart man. He says he will put X and Sex.
Oh God, here we go.
Better. X and Sex is better than anything off the Elder. And Gerald, you are correct, sir.
Right.
No.
I will say this. Let's put the X and Sex is everything horrible about 80s Kiss to such an nth degree that it's an amazing song. It is just like, we don't care. We are just going to have no shame whatsoever and write the most, like, it's X and Sex and All Night are just, to me, like, come on.
Yeah, but
like,
X and Sex, X and Sex has a groove, and it's a well-written song. It's got a groove and it's fun. And
it sounds very similar to another 80s song though. So
yeah, I mean, what the fuck? Let's hold on. Harry Hummus is in the house. Paul, do we have a timeline on the Maiden Summit? Have we thought about that?
I do. We are looking at right now. Hold on. Off the top of my head, I don't have the sheet in front of me. I believe if June 8th is a Tuesday, that's the day we're looking at for Maiden.
Okay.
June 8th.
Okay.
If Tuesday, that's the day.
I can leave on Wednesday then.
Hold on a second.
Oh yeah, I forgot to have this conversation with you.
Yes.
I'm driving up to Minnesota.
Well, here's the other thing. Honestly, you've made it very clear that Maiden isn't your thing as much as it's my thing. If we need to do a Maiden, if you're not on a show, I've not been on.
Oh, I could be on the show. I can be on the show. I'll be on the show. But yeah, no, that should work because
that might be the one. But
yeah. Because I can do that. I can do that drive in 2 days. So
you guys are debating the two Blaze Bayley albums, right?
No, I think I would have to look at. Wait, it was. I have it written down. They're inside. My notes are inside.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I'm trying to remember. Is it Power Slave and Number?
Oh man,
I think so. I think that's what we're doing.
Hold on a second. I'll go for a walk. We got this.
Yeah.
Both amazing fucking albums. There's really no wrong answer with either one of those.
Oh, by the way, everyone revel in the shirt.
That's fucking great. The shirt says dogs because people suck.
I guess I better show mine off too since I'm on the show. So,
yeah, look at that. Ack. The tribute to the Space Ace. I love it. And of course, I am wearing my Alive 2 Ack logo shirt, which you can buy both of these shirts, his Ack shirt, my Ack shirt. Just go to the Facebook page at Another Effing Podcast, click on shop now, and everything that I sell is there. We do not have Metal Edge shirts yet, but I'm sure we'll have something soon. Maybe
we better do it sooner. We're not going to be able to do Metal Edge shirts. I'll just leave it at that. Let's see.
And Izzy means my shirt personally. You can get this one I am wearing in tonight's episode.
Yeah. He will auction it off, and that way he can buy 2 more.
Yeah. I need a new one. I'll get rid of this one to somebody and then use the money to buy a new one.
All right, hold on. I gotta find.
Well, while we're waiting on this,
hold
on. Let's do this.
Not that we need to know right now what it is, but.
Well, I just figured since the great Harry Hummus is in the room listening live, we should prep him because
yes,
Mr. Harry Hummus,
Number of the Beast Power Slave.
Mr. Harry Hummus And this is proof that bribery will get you everywhere. Mr. Harry Hummus bought me a Minnesota Wild authentic sweater. And I'm going to pull it out right now, just so all the first time watchers,
Pull it out.
You clearly don't know Izzy if you're actually going to say that out loud.
No, he totally would. I know he would. Oh, nice. That's badass.
Dude, I mean, yeah, it's the real deal. I mean, fight strap, baby. He is going to be on as a listener. The Iron Maiden.
I'm just, look, Harry, I'm sure you're a great guy. I'm a big fan of hummus. I just have a little bit of an issue with the fact that bribery got you somewhere and I didn't get shit. So I'm going to be the one busting my ass to find out what celebrities you're on a show with. I get a lot of work to do, and I got to be the smart one because he's not even a huge Maiden fan. So, Harry, you and I got to talk.
That's great.
Well, Harry, just so you know, he's a Yankee fan. Just putting that out.
I'm a Yankee fan too, so at least we'll have that.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Brandon, why don't you tell us?
Very interestingly, the logo for one of my fantasy baseball teams is Eddie with the Uncle Sam hat on. That's the old Yankee logo.
Oh wow,
nice.
Yeah, I'm a dork.
Brandon, why don't you tell us where you can people can order your record that comes out on Friday?
So you can just go to Minefield. That is Minefield USA.com. And you can see all the options on there. We got CD, we got vinyl. We have, as of right now, when this is being recorded, I don't know, somebody could listen to this 6 months from now, but right now there's only 2 copies left of the fully autographed CDs that would have Todd Kerns' signature, my signature, Matt Starr's signature, and Jeremy Asbrock's signature on there. The album was mixed and mastered by Anthony Fox, who I have to give a shout out to because he made the whole thing sound absolutely phenomenal. For anybody who doesn't know, Anthony was in Beautiful Creatures. If you've seen Wayne's World, he was the drummer in Cassandra's band.
Oh, wow.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Beautiful Creatures was the first band I ever managed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a little bit of trivia there. I was Anthony's manager back in Beautiful Creatures.
That's awesome. Were you still around for the second lineup with Matt Starr after Sobel and Ashba left?
Ashba wasn't in for long. Ashba was gone pretty quickly. But when the label money left, so did Ashba. And I would say that to his face. I don't have a problem. He was gone quickly. The Matt Starr was in the band while I was managing them. I managed them pretty much up until the end. We split ways. It started to become a little bit of a shit show at the end, but I was with them for a couple of years. I was with them pretty much from right after Ozfest all the way to close to the end.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very cool.
Well, when I say close to the end, I meant recorded bodies of work.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very cool. But yeah, so
Alex
that's where you go.
And Alex
all those
dropped
guys.
the band for a while. There was it was a long time ago. That was a lifetime ago. That was like 2000. That was the early 2000s. So you were like 4. Right?
Yeah. No, I think I was 5 when the first Beautiful Creatures record came out. 2000.
Yeah, you were 5 when the first Beautiful Creatures. I was being a wise ass and I said 4.
I was 4, about to turn 5. I didn't turn 5 till December. So if it came out before December, I was actually 4 years old when that record came out.
Wow. Interesting story. I'm going to tie Beautiful Creatures. I scratched my arm flab. This is why people need to watch on YouTube, because you could watch me eat stale chips and scratch my arm flab the whole time. An interesting Beautiful Creatures, since you brought up Anthony Fox, an interesting Beautiful Creatures / Kiss tie-in. Kenny Queens, Gene told Kenny when Kenny met Gene, Kenny was the bass player, and he told him he was in a band called the Beautiful Creatures. Gene told Kenny that was a bad name because nobody could spell beautiful. And he was like, all right, whatever. Kenny didn't really give it a second thought, all right? So Beautiful Creatures they had a publishing placement, a really good movie placement at the beginning of Rollerball. So the LL Cool J version of Rollerball, the opening scene is a downhill luge, street racing on luging, and it's to a Beautiful Creatures song. And we went to the mall when the movie came out. A bunch of us, like I think Joe, Kenny, a couple of us went to the mall to see the movie. And we had time to kill, and we went to like Sam Goody, whatever the record store was in the mall in 2001 or 2. And we couldn't find, they didn't have Beautiful Creatures. Oh no, they had Beautiful Creatures, but it was spelled wrong and misfiled completely. It was like Butiful, and it was literally like, God damn, Gene Simmons is right. Say what you want about Gene Simmons. The guy knows his shit and he's not stupid.
That's amazing.
In the spring, we'd
Right.
make
And
me
now
comments.
for the record, the reason why I'm dark now isn't because of my lighting. It's because it's dark outside. So
there you go. All right, I'm going to hit the outro music here. Before I do, if you go to @another effing podcast right now, you will see a link, a Zoom link. You want to join us for the post show. It'll be a short one, probably a half an hour. Feel free to join us. Paul, you guys don't have to hang around.
Let me plug some shit really fast.
Yeah, please.
Go check out Jason Charles Miller's new album's out right now. Came out a couple weeks ago, but I had COVID and wasn't able to plug it properly.
Oh, shit.
Jason Charles Miller, new album. It's out now. Go check it out wherever you stream, whether it's Spotify or Apple Music. And if you're on Twitch, follow Jason on Twitch because he does every Monday night. He has guests, and Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke's going to be on his show coming up, performing. And on every Wednesday night, he does all requests. And Jason's been doing some pretty sick Iron Maiden covers lately, acoustic. So just something to check out if you're on Twitch. It might be a good reason to get on Twitch. Who knows? Metal Edge might even be on Twitch soon. Who knows? But yeah, go check out the new Jason record. It's some awesome Southern rock, and I wouldn't lead you wrong. So
all right,
very cool.
Make sure you guys
check out the M3 lineup. M3 announced yesterday.
Yes.
And there's a lot of awesome bands on it, and I manage Hurricane. It's going to be their first show in a long time, so it's going to be worth checking out.
Cool. And who knows? We may end up with some of those bands on here at some point.
Yeah, we will.
Of course we will. Make sure you guys hit up all the social media @Metal Edge Magazine on Facebook and the Instagram @Paul Gargano on the Instagram, me @Real Izzy Presley, all the way across the board, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, the Facebook show page is Another Effing Podcast. And if you go to that show page right now, you will not only click on the Shop Now link and buy many pieces of merchandise like your I Love Van Hagar t-shirts, deal with it. Shit like that, good stuff like that. These act shirts, Another Effing Podcast shirts, yada, yada, yada. And next week, we got the big one, Benante, Portnoy, and Roy Mayorga from Stone Sour coming back to the second batch of Kiss Records. Yes, it's going to be a great one. My name is Izzy Presley. Yes, on behalf of Paul Gargano. This has been Metal Edge Magazine's Another Effing Podcast. And I just heard a beep in my head. I think it's from a show.
By the way, Brandon, thank you for being the only person in the entire music industry to have the balls to step up on no notice and join us today, because you brought some sanity to the mix. Because if Izzy and I had to pull this shit off on our own, God knows what would be going on right now.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on here. I know Izzy has reached out before when you guys did the Randy Rhoads albums for Ozzy, and I was unavailable because I was actually, while you guys were doing that show, I was interviewing Phil Schaus on my show. So we were both hanging out. So that was the missed opportunity before. So I was glad we were able to get something again. And I love the spontaneity of it just being short notice. So, it made me not think about the records too much. If I'd had days to think about it, I'd have overanalyzed it. This is pretty much what I basically think all the time about these records.
There you go.
And you know what? If you weren't on, Izzy and I would probably still be analyzing the excuse they gave us for not being it.